Alrighty, guys, welcome back to the Common Sports Podcast. We got a special guest for you guys today. Joining me is former NBA player and current Maine Celtics head coach Phil Pressley. Phil, thank you very much for joining me today.
I appreciate you, Parker. Ready to
Yeah,
do it.
absolutely. So I just want to say first off, congratulations on being named the head coach for the Maine Celtics for this year. How did you get into being an assistant coach for the Boston Celtics and now the head coach for the Maine Celtics?
Well, I feel like being a point guard as a player. I've always been a coach on the floor, so that's something that I think is important. Going into my coaching career is being a coach on the floor. Then transitioning into coaching, that's something that I've always wanted to do. My father coached. All the coaches I played for in the past helped pave the way. My first professional coach was Brad Stevens. He had a big impact on my coaching career now. So I don't know. I just feel like I've always been a coach, even as a player.
Awesome. Probably going to answer this question just right there, but how's the transition from being a player to a coach been? Seems like it's been pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah. It's been a lot of fun being able to start my coaching career at my alma mater, University of Missouri, as a grad assistant. I was able to gain some experience from that head coach there with Dennis Gates. His leadership style set the foundation for me. And then as I transitioned to Boston, working with Joe Mazzulla, he was phenomenal in my development as a coach. He empowers coaches. He forces you to grow and learn. And I feel like he's a big reason why I've been able to transition here in Maine as a head coach.
Sick. What values do you find most important to instill in a team as a coach?
Yeah, values that that we emphasize not only up in Maine but down in Boston as well is character. Being able to play for a coach like Brad Stevens, being able to work with a coach like Joe Mazzulla, that's something that they talk about all the time. Being able to have a team first mindset, and then like we value effort. That's like the non-negotiable. We don't have too many, but you have to try hard, and I think that's the standard that we hold up in Maine is the effort piece. And if you can do that and you're high character, the rest will take care of itself.
Yeah. So you've played for Brad Stevens, like you said, and then working with Joe Mazzulla.
Hmm.
What do you think their different coaching techniques that they have that are different from each other that have made both of them successful in different ways?
Oh yeah, I mean they're different, but they're the same in a way that they want to get the best out of the players. They just go about it differently. It's a little different because I never played for Joe. I work with him, so I see that side of him
Mhm.
as a coach. But for Brad, playing for him, he gives you the confidence you need to succeed on the court. And when you're playing, when you're in the game, he's behind you. He wants you to do well. For Joe, he just pushes you to a level of discomfort to where he's gonna make you or get the best out of you. He's not gonna allow you to be comfortable and kind of just ease your way. You got to give it your all. You have to push yourself to a limit that even though there's days where you might not think that you can go or you don't have it, he's going to make sure you push it. So I've learned that is that both coaches are different, but they go about it in a way that they maximize a player's potential.
Yeah, I think for me, I like to see coaches that like to push guys and just are very vocal because I mean I
Mhm.
think it's important. The mental side of the game is
Yeah.
one of the most important pieces of the
Hmm.
game versus physicality of the game. So that's really
No,
cool.
you're spot on.
So your dad played in the NBA, like you had said.
Hmm.
What was that experience like as a kid, being able to go to games and being on the floor and such stuff like that?
Yeah. Uh, well, Parker, like you mentioned, my dad, not only played, but he coached for a long time, and I wasn't, born yet when he played, so I wasn't around as a player. But as a coach, just being around, the San Antonio Spurs, being around the Orlando Magic, being around the, Boston Celtics for a little bit, New Orleans, Cleveland, um, LA when I was older, but as a kid, it was almost normal, which is weird, right? Because seeing Tim Duncan as a, you know, how old was I? 7 years old, 8 year old. You think that's just normal, but it's not. It's a Hall of Fame player. Being around Trace McGrady, being around guys like Tony Allen as a kid, being around these superstar athletes and quote unquote celebrities, it impacted my playing career because I saw what it took for guys to make it. I idolized those guys. Just saw how hard they practiced, how they trained. I almost got the work ethic, from osmosis, just being around, and it was just around me. I was put in the environment, but that's something that I think my dad kind of put in place. He just put me in the environment and allowed me to kind of grow within the environment. So I don't know if that was intentional or probably was, but that's probably why I love the game till this day, and I'm coaching
Yeah.
now.
No, that's sweet. I mean, I can't imagine not being in that environment as a kid and such like that. Like you said, it was normal for you. I can't imagine like it. I know it would affect me like in my
Yeah,
basketball career and such like
yeah,
that. How are those guys? I don't know if you remember or not, but how were those guys like to you? And I know you have a brother as well. How were
yeah.
they to you when you guys were at the games and such like that?
They were cool. I mean, like to a point where they joke around with you and play with you. I see in Boston, I see the guys like Derek White and when we had Drew Holiday last year, Al Horford, um, you know, those guys. They see kids and they play with them. Whether it be 1 minute, 2 minute, they might shoot hoops with them, but they don't know that that has an impact on their lives for the rest of their lives, and maybe they do know that. That's probably why they do it. And when I played, I understood that, especially in the NBA, like how important it is to play with the kids, and whether it be 1 minute, 2 minutes, uh, it impacts their lives. And being able to lose you there. We
Yeah, are
good.
you still there?
Yep, I'm still here.
All right, cool.
Yeah. Um, but yeah,
Yeah,
no, it's definitely a cool experience to be able to be around the game
yeah.
um, as a player. And I know all of Derek White's kids and Drew Holiday's kids last year. They love being on the court. They love interacting with the players, and you can definitely see it makes a big impact.
Oh, for sure. I would 100% agree. Um, so far this year, your team, the Maine Celtics, are you guys 9-5 right now? Is that it?
Yeah, correct.
You had that 9-win streak. That was awesome. What do you feel has been the keys to the success so far this year?
Just it's a team effort, right? It's cliche. Everybody talks about the team and teamwork, but it's real, right? We've had guys who were our two ways who were out of the lineup, and we had other guys step up. We had games where certain guys didn't play well, even our top guys, and other guys stepped up. So getting the guys to understand the importance of team, and enjoying playing with each other, playing for each other, protecting each other, I think is super valuable. And I think that's, a reason why we've been successful in this early part of the season. And that's what it has to be about. I think the best teams they have a team first mindset. So that's my job as a coach to instill those behaviors into these guys.
Awesome. Yeah, I was very impressed to see when they posted that it was franchise record 9-win streak. That's awesome.
Hmm.
It's fantastic. Going back to your NBA career and such like that, I know you had a couple teams that you played for. What was your experience like playing for the Celtics versus other teams that you played for?
I mean, it's pretty much what it is now, right? The culture. There's a lot of the same employees, whether it be in the front office or on the business side, they're still working here. And it just shows you the importance of how they value people, especially like Brad Stevens. He does a phenomenal job of getting the right people, putting the right people in the right place. And that it shows a lot. It means a lot. And you can see it, man. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool to see. It's almost like a family atmosphere. Of course, it's a business, and you're judged on winning and losing. But all other things set aside, you see the people, and just being in Boston, that's what I've recognized the most. And it might be like that with other teams, but from what I know from my experience, from what you know, being a New England sports enthusiast, you know how important sports are in Boston. So
Mhm.
I get that feeling as well, being a part of the Boston Celtics organization.
That's super cool to hear about the front office and such like that, like people that have still there even when you were playing almost 10 years ago and such like that. That's super cool. I don't know. There's not a ton of organizations. There can't be that. They're still like that. It's really
Yeah,
cool.
exactly.
Um, so in your playing career, was there anyone, especially in your early years of playing, that kind of brought you under their wing and tried to just kind of help you in the ways of the NBA and such?
Oh, for sure. When I was in Boston, um, you know, Rajon Rondo was a older player, and him being a point guard, I tried to the best of my ability, to learn from him. All star point guard. Uh, Being able to win a championship as a point guard is not easy to do. So that was a guy that I looked up to for from a point guard standpoint. Brandon Bass was a big time help for me as a professional, learning how to show up, how to take care of your body, um, and make the most of your minutes. But we had good vets, a good veteran team. My team going in, we were a transition team of kind of from the older generation to the newer. It was that gap between I would say the Paul Pierce years going into the early Jason Tatum's year and Jaylen Brown. So it was a fun experience for me. It laid my foundation as a professional player, and my first year was Brad Stevens' first years as well. So I was able to see how he built the foundation of what he was trying to get accomplished. So it's amazing to see where it's gone since I first played.
Mm. Yeah, it's crazy, honestly.
Yeah,
And even having Jason Tatum out this year and a lot of other key players that were a big part of the championship and such gone now. Team's still rolling. They're doing good. So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
amazing. Um, what is your best story that you have from your playing career or your coaching career?
My best story. Hmm. Probably playing in the playoffs. I mean, I didn't score a point. I didn't I didn't have an impact from a performance standpoint, but getting in the game, um, the atmosphere, having a jump ball versus LeBron James, as a player, like it's just that's like insane. Now that I think back and I reflect on it, like playing in the NBA playoffs is, man, it's high, super high level. I think about my moment, like one of my first games as a rookie. We played at Miami. I'm guarding Ray Allen. That was like my welcome to the NBA moment. And Ray Allen tries to post me up in the post, and I wasn't. I'm a high pride guy. Me being a smaller guy, if you don't play with a chip on your shoulder, similar to Peyton Pritchard, you have no chance. So that was like my welcome to NBA moment. Um, like stories wise, man, there's not too much, from a story that we could probably say on the podcast. I gotta let I can't say too many of those, but other than that, for a coach, the coolest story probably will be when we played against the media team here, probably a couple. That had to be a couple months ago. We played against the coaching staff of the Celtics. We played against the media team. That was pretty cool. Joe Mazzulla
What
was
was the
pretty.
score?
I can't remember. It was a lot to a little. Um, but Joe Mazzulla, he was hyped up for that. He was pretty hyped. He was pretty hyped. But it was cool to see his competitiveness side come out for as a player, right? Because he's a
Mm,
coach. So like you really don't get that too much from a coach who, I mean, he's a previous player, right? Player first. But
mm.
you get to coaching for so long that that player mentality kind of goes away. But it was cool to see that pop back up.
That's cool. Did he have you guys all come in at some point and practice together before that?
Nah, I mean we plan practice every single day, so there's not much that we need
That
to
is true.
know about each other. We kind of already know. For him, it's more about just a mindset. As you mentioned, he has that mindset.
Yeah. That's super cool. That must have been super fun. I would have loved to. I think I saw a clip about that. That looked really fun.
Yeah.
So obviously you're in Maine now. Um, we're Maine based. So what do your off days look like right now, being a coach, free time,
hmm
and is there any favorite restaurant spots? That's a question I usually ask all the guys that come on.
Yeah. Let me see. I mean, my off days consist of it's a family day. So if I have a family day, that's from usually with my family, or I'm prepping for the next day for practice. So my off days aren't too free. Um,
Is
I'm
the
trying to
family
think of
down here
great.
with you?
Yeah, my son's in school in Portland. My wife works here. So
Nice.
we've taken this experience. I'm ready to go snowboarding. Hopefully over February break I can go snowboarding.
Nice.
Pretty excited for that. To hit the slopes and to do that. I'm trying to think of the best restaurant. I mean, Luke Lobster. That's probably a staple out here.
Mhm.
Um, I'm trying to think of the. We with my wife and I. We went to a restaurant. I can't think of the name of the restaurant. Um, but Maine has some. What's your favorite restaurant out here?
So I'm a big lunchtime. I'm going to Mukuchi Grocery, and they
Yeah.
got pizza. I don't know if you've ever been there. It's like this thick, huge
Nah.
slices, $8. It's amazing, super good. But one of my favorite restaurants in Portland that I like to go to with my wife is Solo Italiano, which is
Solo
right on Commercial
Italiano.
Street.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a great place.
Yeah, I haven't ate out a lot here. Um, I actually need my wife and I. We need to go on a date night. So Solo Italiano might be the spot.
Yeah, no, it's really good. It's great Italian food. The guy, I'm pretty sure the chef's straight from Italy, so it's
Solo
a really
Italiano.
good.
I'll write that down.
That place is good. And then outside of Portland, there's a place called the Lost Fire, which is a
Lost Fire.
steakhouse,
Mm-hmm.
and it's pricey, but I like to take my wife there. It's great. It's
Yeah.
fantastic. That's in Kennebunkport.
Nice, nice. That's about 30 minutes away.
Yeah,
So
it's not too
like,
bad.
I actually need to. Like I haven't. It's crazy you asked me that question, and my wife and I we haven't done too many dinners, especially when I got your son, my son, and then I'm so busy with
Mhm.
work. I need to be better with that, intentional with
Yeah,
date nights.
yeah, for sure. Portland has the most restaurants per capita in the U.S., so you
Hey,
got plenty of
that's
options.
we got time. We got time.
Yeah. Um, so you went to Mizzou for college. Was that your number one college choice, or did you have other colleges that were interested in such?
Um, you wait. Say that one more time. I misheard you.
So you went to Mizzou for college.
Yeah.
Was Mizzou the number one option for you?
Oh yeah.
And was there any other colleges that had given you offers and such?
Yeah. So like my final schools that I was interested in was UConn, Baylor, UCLA, um, Arizona. So I had some LSU. I had some pretty good schools that were interested. But the head coach of Missouri, I had a relationship with my father and him went to college together, Mike Anderson.
Okay.
My brother was coming out of a JUCO. He was a junior when I was about to be an incoming freshman. So we were able to go to the university together. I knew a couple guys on the team at University of Missouri already, so it was just a good fit for me, um, just from a atmosphere and
Mm.
environment. It was a good fit for me, but it all worked out. Being able to play for a coach that I've known for most of my life, being able to play with my brother, being able when Missouri was in the Big 12, we went back and played in Texas 4 times a year, so that was always fun. My family could come watch me play. So
It's awesome.
yeah, Missouri was a great choice for me. But UConn wouldn't have been bad either. They won a championship. My second year, my sophomore year, they won a championship. So
Mm. I think it would mean more to me, like you were saying, like playing with your brother and then someone that you've known for a long time. I think that means a lot to
oh, for
be able
sure.
to have the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, 100%.
The age old question: your brother is older than you, correct?
Correct.
Who was the best basketball player growing up?
Oh, I mean, I'm always gonna say me. But the reason I am who I am, or the reason why I was able to make it, was because of him. Right, him being 2 years older than me. Like hindsight, right? It's 2020, so you look back and because he was 2 years older than me, like he's gonna be better than me, taller than me, stronger than me
Mm.
at different points of my life. So if I'm constantly playing against somebody who's 2 years older than me, right, bigger and stronger than me, I'm gonna be better, So he's actually playing against himself, and pushing himself versus me. Like I'm always measuring myself to him, right? And he's older than me. So like that's automatically gonna push my limit, push me out of my
Mm.
comfort zone. So the reason why I was able to make it to the NBA, he was a big part of that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Um, so growing up in high school, I'm pretty sure everyone has seen the clip because it went viral. You dunking 5'8" in high school.
Yeah.
When did you start dunking and like start learning that you had the
Yeah.
hops like that?
I mean, that was my brother. I remember one day I was touching that backboard, touching that, and he said, "You never be able to dunk," okay, show him. So just by having that motivation, he put that fire to me. But Tony Allen, I remember when my dad was working with Boston. Tony Allen said he used to do like 2,000 calf raises a day. So that inspired me to do more calf raises. I used to work out with the weight vest on, 15-pound weight vest. Like probably why my back is messed up now. Working out with a 15-pound weight vest, like just doing anything, to improve my hops. And then a lot of it's genetics. My sister has a extremely high vertical. My dad played in the NBA, but he was a bigger guy, him being about 6'5", and I got my mom's height, but I got his athleticism. So I don't know. For me, it's just having that chip on my shoulder and just working extremely hard and doing whatever I can to gain that advantage. Whether if it was wearing a weight vest or running hills, doing you know as many calf raises as I could, like that all played a part.
Hmm. What was that like to just in high school posterize someone like that and have it go viral?
That I don't know because at that time social media wasn't what it is today.
Yeah, that
So
is true.
yeah, so like it wasn't that big of a deal to me at that moment, because I've done that multiple times in my high school career. So
Hmm.
it wasn't like what it is today. As put out there. So, but it was pretty crazy. It was pretty crazy to have a moment like that that's lasted this long. So, hopefully, there will be another moment. Maybe not to me dunking on somebody, but that will gain that much traction, because of some type of success in my coaching career.
Yeah, for sure. So usually we'll end with this specific question. So I will reword it because you were the first coach that we've had on here.
Nice.
But what is one word that you would describe your coaching style to be for people that don't know who you are?
I would say motivating. That's what I try to do. I think in coaching, motivating and I mean it's gonna be two words. Inspiring is part of the job, especially from a head coach. Of course, the tactics and the strategies and the X's and O's are very important, but on a daily, on your practice days, on your, before games, after games, you have all these touch points that you're having with the players, and every player has different motivations, and you're put in, these situations to where you're having to motivate, 13, 15, 17 guys, individual players, individuals, but also your staff, right? Also, the fans or people who are in the arena. I think motivating is part of a coach's job that sometimes goes unnoticed. But if you can motivate your team, you can get so much more out of them from a team that's motivated versus a team that's not.
Love that. That's awesome. Well, Phil, I really appreciate you taking the time out of your night to talk with me. And we'll be rooting for you guys, Maine Celtics, coming up. So thank you very much for taking the time with us.
I appreciate you, Parker. Thank you for having me.
You got it.
All right, man. See you.
See ya.